Hey guys, it's Cy. If you're super curious but don't always have the time to watch your favourite podcasts, you've found the right place. Sam Shoemate, a retired US Army intelligence officer and chief warrant officer too, he claims to have received an email from Matthew Leibelsberger, who allegedly detonated a Tesla Cybertruck at Trump Tower on January 1st, 2025. Shoemate discusses his findings and challenges mainstream narratives. Here's your summary of the Shawn Ryan Show, number 155, with Sam Shoemate, in less time than it takes to find the key to gravity propulsion. Let's jump in. Shoemate kicks off the podcast by discussing an email from Matthew Leibelsberger, which he describes as shocking. This email purportedly contained detailed information about upcoming events, which Shoemate believes are often overlooked by mainstream media. The content of the email suggests a conspiracy involving several high-profile incidents. It was like a blueprint for what was about to unfold, Shoemate shares.
Tell me how you got the email.
All right, so for context, I've run this account for the last 4.5 years. There have been people in and out writing articles and different stuff and just investigations, some big, some small, just trying to keep accountability in the military, but developed a robust network within the military, all branches, and people feed into this and send me messages and here and there. Nothing ever like this has ever come in. But well, it started off as comments. So when you have a big Instagram account, you're going to miss a lot of messages because people message, go to hidden messages and everything else. You miss a lot of stuff. Well, I kept seeing this comment on recent posts that I put in there, and it was from this burner account that said, hey, check your DMs, check your DMs, check your DMs. So I go in there and try to find it. There's no message from this guy, hadn't come through or whatever. And then he messages again once that message was opened up. And I said, hey, your previous messages haven't come through. What do you want to tell me? And he said, what I'm going to send you, now these are literally his words. What I'm going to send you is going to change the course of humanity. That was his phrase, change the course of humanity. I take everything with a grain of salt until I have evidence and proof. So this guy is insistent. He tells me that he is a 18 Zulu who I've spoken to before, and he really needs to get this stuff to me. And then he talks about you. He says, I need you to get me in contact with Shawn Ryan.
He emphasizes the urgency and the gravity of the revelations in this email, prompting a re-evaluation of public safety and information dissemination. Shoemate also discusses how this email might have been an attempt to expose or warn about deeper issues within national security circles. The email's authenticity and implications are a recurring theme throughout the episode. Following the email, Shoemate delves into the manifesto that Leibelsberger allegedly penned. This document, according to Shoemate, provides a philosophical and technical basis for the email's claims. He reads excerpts that suggest a radical shift in understanding technology and its impact on society. The manifesto isn't just about technology, it's a critique of our current systems, Shoemate states.
I ended up getting this message on Tuesday. So the message that this right here, this manifesto, if you want to call it that, came in on Tuesday. And when I started reading this, my initial take was, okay, this is off the deep end. It's bonkers. I can't validate or verify any of the stuff in this manifesto. Mm-hmm. And I told him that in a subsequent email. We're Friday now. That was 3 days ago.
So
the day before
30th?
Yeah, the day before the attack. And then the day after, Buddy Green Beret, Corey, he says, at Sam, nobody I've asked in the community knows him. You is at 8:46 a.m. yesterday. So I woke up and I said, OF, I'm shaking. This guy emailed me 2 days ago. I'm not playing. And then he said, damn. And then this was my response to him at 8:48. Like, just woke up.
Dude, I'm fucking shaking, bro. You don't understand. This guy emailed me and told me he was being watched by the FBI and Homeland Security, but they weren't going to do anything to him because he had a VBID. I'm not fucking playing, dude. I have the email. I am shaking, man. This is nuts.
He explains how the manifesto connects to broader discussions on power, control, and freedom in the technological age. The manifesto's ideas challenge listeners to rethink the balance between technological advancement and human ethics. Shoemate analyses the potential motives behind its creation and distribution. The discussion then veers into the realm of advanced propulsion technologies, specifically gravitic propulsion. Shoemate explains how this system could theoretically work, referencing claims made in the manifesto. He talks about the implications for both military and civilian use, emphasizing the paradigm shift it would represent. If what's claimed here is true, it would change everything about how we move and travel.
Do you want to read the email?
Yep. So this email came in on December 31st at 10:42 a.m. That is Tuesday. He said, in case I do not make it to my decision point or onto the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with drones, he puts that in quotes, he says drones, is the operational use of Gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China and the East Coast, but throughout history, the US. Only we in China have this capability. Our OPCEN, that's Operation Center, our OPCEN location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they use the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comm system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. U.S. government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive V-bid. Let me pause right there for a second. So he says a massive V-bid. When I was talking to the FBI yesterday, they didn't know what a V-bid was. I had to explain what that acronym meant, literally.
You fucking serious?
Dead serious. I said it twice and he goes, you said that word V-bid. Can you tell me what that is? For your audience, a V-bid, for your audience who has not been in the GWAT for the last 20 years, a V-bid is a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. In layman's terms, a car bomb, what we saw at Trump Tower. So I am armed and have a massive V-bid. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of civcas, that's civilian casualties, that killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. U.S. FORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA and Agent Redacted of the DEA, so I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with Redacted IO staff on this as well as the response to Bala Murghab. Redacted commander at the time, Redacted can validate this. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. Then he says, for vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty 18 Zulu out of 110, that's 1st Battalion 10th Special Forces Group. My profile is public. I have an active TSSCI with UAP, USAP access.
What is USAP? Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is. But I checked his credentials on LinkedIn. So that was the first thing I did. I went to his LinkedIn page. First thing I noticed was all of his bona fides were in place. He has all the UAS training from USASOC and everything else. And so I said, okay, at least the guy knows what he's talking about with drones.
He discusses potential evidence like unexplained aerial phenomena that might be linked to such technology. The conversation also includes skepticism and the scientific community's response to these claims. Shoemate stresses the need for further research and transparency regarding these cutting-edge technologies. Shoemate attempts to link various events and technologies discussed, suggesting there's a pattern or a larger narrative at play. He connects the dots between the email, the manifesto, and the emergence of new technologies. It's about seeing the bigger picture, he explains, detailing how seemingly disparate incidents might be part of a coordinated effort or a natural progression of technological evolution.
I think you said you had mentioned that you had received a message from somebody that says nobody's heard of this guy. Tim sent me a picture of him shooting with this guy. And I don't know if I should release that photo or not, but Tim basically told me this. So I got the POA's number, the public affairs officer, sent it to Jeremy and Tim. He talked to them. And what they wanted us to know was that this guy was an upstanding soldier, an excellent operator, was moving on, was moving towards retirement and moving on to basically enhance the future of warfare. They wanted us to know that. Then the PA officer, sounds like almost jokingly said, which I don't know why you would joke about this, said that, oh, and between us, which why the fuck would a POA officer say between us? I mean, if they didn't want us to know that information, then they just wouldn't have told us that. But they wanted us to know, obviously, that the DNA with his supposed child was not a match. And so I think what they were trying to do is basically make this out to be, oh, this is why this happened. He got bad news that that's not his child. And so that's why he did it.
He mentions historical precedents where similar connections led to significant shifts in policy or public perception. Shoemate also cautions about the dangers of jumping to conclusions without solid evidence. He encourages listeners to think critically about the information presented and its sources. Shoemate explores the theory linking the Tesla Cybertruck incident at Trump Tower to broader conspiracy narratives. He recounts the details of the incident as described in the email and manifesto, theorizing about why a Tesla might have been chosen. This wasn't just an act of vandalism, it was symbolic.
Everybody I've spoken to who knew the guy prior, yesterday I spoke to several people, to include his old team leader, who's now lieutenant colonel, said he was fine, nothing out of place. His mental state was not something that anybody was concerned about. His ex-girlfriend posted photos of him bragging about how he got a Tesla and all this other stuff. So stick with me here. Very capable guy, but he loads the Tesla up. A Tesla, which Elon Musk brags about being bulletproof, right? So this is one of his selling points. It's bulletproof. We even saw Joe Rogan shoot an arrow at it and wasn't able to puncture this thing. So he loads up a Tesla knowing that it's going to, not explode like he wants it to with fireworks and a bunch of other junk, when he can make a car bomb that's going to level this place. Here's what I think. So the PAO, the Army PAO, is saying that the body inside the cab did not match the DNA of his child. All right. We also know that there was no, they said he was shot by a Desert Eagle. We know that there was no signature when it rolled up. So nobody shot themselves when it rolled up to it. You would have seen a large signature. Mr. Guns and Gear, he's on X. He goes into this a lot in depth. He's a firearms expert and he talks about this. And there's no signature. So this is what happens. You get a Tesla because you know it can drive itself up to the hotel, the Trump Tower. You put a body in it, roll it up. It's already burned up, or it's already shot, excuse me. You don't want to kill anybody because that's not the message you're trying to send. You're not trying to level the tower or kill a bunch of people. So you load it up with fireworks and a bunch of junk to send a message. And we know that his signal number or his signal safety number changed. That can't be done unless you're inside that signal account. And a lot of people conjecture, was the FBI inside his signal account, whatever else. But what if he accidentally changed his safety number, goofed up there? He rolled a body up in a Tesla specifically because a Tesla can drive itself up to the tower, and did what he did to send a message to expose his stuff. And he's still alive out there somewhere.
Shoemate calls for a thorough investigation, not just into the incident, but into the broader implications. The conversation shifts to the concerns around drones, a UAP. Shoemate discusses how these sightings might relate to the Gravitic propulsion system. He cites reports of drones behaving in ways that suggest advanced technology, possibly beyond current public knowledge. We're seeing things that defy our understanding of physics, Shoemate says, connecting these to the manifesto's claims.
Several weeks ago, I don't know if you saw that video, it was a New Jersey sheriff or chief of police, I can't remember which, but he flew their own drone up, their own department drone up to try to figure out what was going on. So we had all these drone issues that were being sighted off of New Jersey and everything. And what he commented on video was how fast these things were. He said, we have a pretty robust drone, and they flew it up there to try to catch these drones that were there, and they just, bam, they were gone. He said there was no catching them, never seen anything like it. They don't even know, they have no idea what that could have been. And so you have this capability that is, I guess, in line with what we hear about anti-gravity being. And I don't know, it makes you wonder.
He also talks about the national security implications of such advanced drone technology, particularly in sensitive areas like military installations or border regions. Shoemate questions the government's narrative versus the experiences of pilots and civilians. Shoemate addresses the geopolitical implications, focusing on Iranian missile technology and how it impacts US border security. He discusses the recent advancements in Iranian missile capabilities, as mentioned in the Manifesto. Iran's missile tech isn't just a regional concern, it's a global one, he warns.
Now, we have the New Orleans attack. We have Iranian missiles. We have these invisible bombs. Do you know about the invisible bombs? So now these terrorist organizations have developed invisible bombs that will get through metal detectors, any kind of screening device that's out there, and they brag about this. And now we just did a Twitter Spaces with Sarah Adams, and they are now bragging that what we know about the invisible bomb, it's now even more advanced than it was before. So that means they can get this into stadiums, they can get this into airports, they can get this pretty much anywhere they want because you cannot detect it.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Great.
So, for the people out there, look, there's no stopping what's here.
He looks at how this ties into broader security issues at US borders, potentially involving drone or UAP incursions. Shoemate analyses the diplomatic and military responses to these threats, considering both current policies and potential future escalations. He advocates for an informed public discourse on how to handle such threats without inciting fear or xenophobia. Finally, Shoemate concludes with a call to action for community safety. He urges listeners to engage more actively in their local security measures, informed by the technologies and threats discussed.
It's going to be a bloody 2025. I think that's very obvious. And so for those of you that are looking for something to do and if finally come to the realization that our government is failing us, here's what you need to do. You need to get with your local communities. You need to, especially schools. Schools are very vulnerable no matter how many active shooters we have in the schools. The infrastructure that's been put in, which is minimal to none, a lot of schools still have none. You better start holding your schools accountable, and you better start raising hell and having them upgrade security no matter what the cost, because no matter what the cost is, it's not gonna amount to the loss of life that we will potentially see throughout the United States. And start calling your congressmen. Get these guys to do something.
Yeah.
Start calling your senators. Get these guys to do something. They have been warned for over a year that this is coming, and nobody wants to take it seriously. Nobody wants to take it seriously. We contacted the House Foreign Affairs Committee. They did like a Zoom call. A Zoom call.
Yeah, that's
Just for a little media hit. Our government is failing us.
He ends with a plea for unity and vigilance, reminding everyone that community safety begins with awareness and action. Shoemate's call to action is a reminder that while we might not have all the answers, we can all contribute to community safety through awareness and engagement. Remember, as Shoemate says, the truth might be out there, but it's up to us to make it known. If you learned something new and want to spread some love, we would really appreciate if you hit the bell icon to get a head start on new episodes uploaded every other day. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment below if you believe he is still alive, to show us you stayed to the end and enjoyed the episode. If you want to stay updated, head on over to X and give us a follow at solutionsAI_. All links are super easy to find down in the description and pinned to the top comment. We'd love if you share our stuff with your friends and family too. And most importantly, be sure to stay curious. See you next time. Sci out.